Here we are. Welcome back. Skills series, the push-up video number 2 coming at you. So today we're going to work on the proper mechanics of that push-up or the technique as you want to call it. So we're going to work on that upper body positioning, basically talking about the arms and the best placement for those arms. And then we're going to work into that lower body and the positioning of the lower body in the mechanics for the push-up. And then we're going to bring it all together and talk about the whole push-up all together. So let's get started. Here you'll notice me with an overhead view of me doing a push-up. My arms are just about in a 90-degree angle. This is probably the least desirable, as it'll put a lot of pressure or undue stress on the shoulder joint and musculature. Here you have an overhead view of a tricep style, or what we'd call a gymnastic style push-up. The arms are at 10 to 20 degree bend. This is ideal for the safety of the shoulder joint. This is typically more of a challenge for someone newer to the push-up because it recruits so much of the back of the arm, or what are called the triceps. However, this is a style recommended to develop. Lastly, you'll notice on this overhead shot the arms are at about a 45-degree bend. This is also another good variation to use for the push-up. The 45-degree angle from the shoulder to the elbow allows for a healthy position for the shoulder. This position is what I call the power position of a push-up because it allows for a good balance of recruitment of strength from both the chest as well as the triceps. Now what we want to talk about is the lower body positioning to add into that arm element. As we just discussed there, you saw the focus on the arm placement. Now we want to work on that lower body. So when we're doing the lower body, or we're in that nice tight, what I call tight push-up position, you want to be mechanically sound. And when I say that, I mean in that long plank position. So essentially all of our joints from our ankle, knee, hip, all the way to our shoulder are in alignment. So if I demo here, my shoulders are stacked up over my elbow up over wrist. My hands are nice and wide, and then when I'm in this plank position, I'm in a nice tight position. When I say neutral spine, that means, again, everything's in alignment. My head's neutral, looking straight down. It's in alignment with my spine, so I have my shoulder, my hip, knee, and ankle all in a proper position. All right? So when we're in this position, we want to make sure we're all stacked and nice and tight. So when I say nice and tight, that means I'm pulling in my abdominal wall, so I'm belly button to the spine. I'm trying to drop that rib cage down. I'm also squeezing the hamstrings and the glutes along with that to stay in a nice tight plank position. Another important element to the push-up is actually the hand itself. You'll see one of the common faults individuals will do is they'll have their hands with fingers really close together. I want you to focus on really opening up the hand, so it's displaced, all that weight is displaced out throughout the hand, and actually the pressure on it. Some people will put pressure on the internal portion of their hand, and I'll talk about that common fault in the last series when we're talking more about common faults and how to correct them. But we want to have the pressure on the hand throughout the entire palm, all the way through the fingertips, and not so much just on the inside. Now again, that's an awareness piece, so when you go to do a push-up again, focus on the entire hand pressure when you're having all that weight displaced over the entire portion of your hand with your body weight. Now let's put all these pieces to the puzzle together. So we've worked on that arm placement, we've worked on the hand placement, we've worked on the plank, the neutral position of the body. Now let's work on that descending position of that push-up. So one of the things I want you to focus on is that upper back. So upper back, what I'm looking for you to do is to turn on those back muscles. So essentially on the shoulder blade itself, the shoulder blades and how they move, we want to make sure that we're kind of putting those in our back pocket. That's the analogy I want to give you, or the example is trying to put those shoulder blades in the back pocket. That's going to put your shoulder in a nice healthy position when we're doing the descending of this push. So once I'm up in that nice tight plank position, I've got everything turned on. I'm trying to turn those shoulder blades up, back, and down, and keeping them in my back pocket. As I descend down, I'm inhaling, and I'm breathing out as I do the push-up. I'm inhaling and exhaling as I press out. The modification for this is essentially just dropping to the knee. Notice that I didn't move at the hip joint. I'm keeping my glutes on, or my butt on, and my hamstring on. I'm trying to keep still in alignment with the knee the knee, the hip, and the shoulder joint, and I'm doing the same mechanical piece. I'm just dropping down. And that's the push-up. A few other slight modifications that you can make to the push-up are using a few pieces of equipment, whether it be a wall or a box. So with the box itself, it's raising you up. So that's how we can scale this movement, the push-up, to basically accommodate to where you're at in your ability at that time. And you can continue to scale up or scale down based on where you're at. So with the box itself, we're just going to raise our body up, still getting in those proper mechanical pieces where we're stacking all those joints nice and tight. I'm using this box, I'm descending down. So that would be one modification. The other modification is you can go ahead and use the wall itself, and you can change the angle to make it either more challenging or less challenging. So the demo would be same mechanical piece, feet together, or you can, if you want to give yourself a little bit more balance, widen the feet out, and we're going to use that wall, leaning in. So whatever ability you're at, make that adjustment.